conduit. Now I know that because I threw a chair at him one time. I apologize profusely for that, and I do continue to do to this day. I thought that was extremely touching to give a standing ovation to Dick Bennett. You know, that was a lot of great achievements with the soprano, with his family. And that brought back memories to me. I've been a public servant for over 40 years. And I remember I had one standing ovation that I got in those 40 years. I got elected to the city council in Schenectady. I was going to give my first speech at the Sons of Italy Hall. Oh, my knees were shaking. I got up, they introduced me. I got 2 sentences out, and the entire room stood up and gave me a standing ovation. I said, I'm going to be the first Italian-American president in the United States of America. What a gift I must have. And then I kind of looked over my shoulder, and Bishop Howard Hubbard was in the doorway behind me. So I really never got a standing ovation. I see some great faces here, bring back some tremendous memories. I see Mike Dean over there. We played a little ball against each other. The last time I spoke with Mike Dean, we were playing semi-pro basketball, I think. We were a couple years out of college. I wasn't exactly in shape. And we went out to the court. It was out western New York, so I don't even remember where it was. He comes up to me. I thought he was going to shake my hand and say, well, good luck tonight. He walks up to me and grabs my hand and says, you look like a beach ball with arms to this go. I was a little out of shape. I'm honored to be able to be here to introduce to you the next inductee and congratulate all those who are going to be inducted and all those who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. This is a guy, David Przybylo, who has a tremendous pedigree. And you know what that pedigree is. His name is Walt Przybylo and Gary Przybylo. I mean, I don't think there's a coach that has a legacy like Walt Przybylo has had, championship after championship. Of course, that was his dad. Gary Przybylo was the player of the year, and we competed against each other, then became friends, and a great high jumper, great athlete, went on to play at Michigan. But David is what I call the quiet, unassuming part of that pedigree. If you came into a room, and most of you who know Walt or Gary Przybylo, if you came into a room and they were in there with 300 people, and they knew none of them, by the end of that night, everybody would know Walt and Gary Przybylo before that night was over. Well, Dave is the kind of quiet, unassuming guy. But you would know he was a part of that pedigree if you ever played against him on the court, played with him on the court, or watched him play a game of basketball. You know we have Schenectady High School now. We've got some great coaches. The Louders are over there now. They're doing a great job. Had some great coaches in the past. But before that, we had Linton High School, and we had Mount Pleasant High School. When I talk about David Przybylo, about being quiet and unassuming, can you name the #1 guy in this room in the history of Linton High School who was part of the top 3 scorers in the history of that school? The top 3 scorers. He can. You know who's #1 in scoring in the history of Linton High School? You probably might say Derek Kramer or Pat Riley. His name is Sid Edwards. Do you know who's #2 in the history of scoring in Linton High School? His name is Dave Modest. But that man over there, you'd probably be surprised to know, is #3 in the history of scoring in Linton High School. 1,305 points. Let me just tell you a little bit about his record. Sophomore year, he was part of a team that was the Section 2 champion. 19-3 first place. He was honorable mention Class A League All-Stars as a sophomore. Junior year, first team All-Metroland, Class A League Player of the Year, All New York State team, David Przybylo. Senior year, first team All-Metro League, Class A League Player of the Year, All New York State team. Went on to get a full scholarship to Wichita State, played on 2 top 20 teams at Wichita State, made it to the NCAA tournaments. The first round, I think you lost at a shot at the buzzer on one of those in the first round. Went over to Albany State with Doc, Coach Doc Sauer, 20-7 record. SUNY co-champions that year, made it to the NCAAs again. Has a beautiful wife, her name is Patty. Son's name is David, and got a sister named Chrissy. I introduce to you now the next inductee, David Przybylo.
Jim was probably one of the best offensive players that ever come out of the area. I mean, he was explosive. One of the better defensive players. He could stop anybody, even if they were a foot taller. Super physical skills, super basketball skills, and one of the most entertaining players you've ever seen. And that's not my opinion, it's his. Of course, when you're up here for a reason. And that's all the teammates I've had, all the coaches, from Linton to Wichita State, back at Albany. One of the main reasons why I'm up here is because what I did at Linton. When I went to Wichita State, I was playing with 4 All-Americans, and we had a great team. We lost to Michigan in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The next year, we beat Al McGuire's team that won the national championship at Marquette. I wanted to talk a little bit about Jim. I was a scout for the Miami Heat for 5 years. Thank you, Pat Riley. They sent me to Toledo, Ohio to scout the MAC conference, the other MAC conference. They said they have 4 NBA players there, 4 future NBA players. I go, I scout, I send them 5 forms back in. A couple days later, Randy Fun calls me. He says, I want to talk to you about the forms you handed in. He said, we got 4 players, they're great players, you did a great job. But this 5th form you handed in, I got 3 questions for you. And I was like, all right, go ahead. One was, are you serious? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, this player is 5'5" and weighs 135 pounds. Nobody in the NBA is that small. Nobody in the NBA has ever played at that height. He goes, second, are you out of your mind? And he said, third, who the hell is Jimmy Tedesco? When you're in the NBA and you hand in a scouting form, the strengths and the weaknesses, but 2 other things you do. But the most important, you do, where do you see this player getting drafted? And the number 2 thing is, who do you compare him to? When I was out there, I was scouting Bonzi Wells. He was a 6'5" guard from Ball State. He was picked number 11. I compared him to Otis Birdsong. You differentiate a little bit. Well, I put Jimmy's name down on this 5'5" player. I said, does Pat Riley read these forms? And he goes, yeah, he'll eventually see him, but we don't know who Jimmy is. And I said, well, just have Pat read them and he'll know. The guy I'm talking to about played in the NBA for 13 years, scored 14 points a game at one point. His name's Earl Boykins. If you go and you Google him, put him on YouTube, you'll see Jimmy. Same moves, same everything. You put them in the game together, in a one-on-one game, I'm taking Jimmy. So that's just to tell you how good he was. Give him a hand. My biggest impact on my life, of course, was my family. We talk about Gary, Walt, my sister Chris. Every time I see Pat Riley, how's Chris? What's she doing? How's she doing? She just told me he asked her out when she was in high school. I didn't know that. But that was the biggest impact. I got to thank my coaches, Bill Rapay, Jim Delmonico. Bobby Pizzano was my coach. He was a 9th grade coach. Excellent coach. And then I got to thank what I learned about basketball is all about family. Any coach, it's all about family. So I'm going to start with my wife, Trish. I met her in high school. My senior year, she said, you are a star. I'm going to marry you. You are a star. She came out to see me play in Wichita, and then it took another 8 years to convince her to marry me. She comes out. We're playing University of California. And we went, I come out of the locker room, and she's there. You didn't score any points. And I was like, I made 2 foul shots. I had 4 assists. That equals 8 points, 10 points. So she's been with me through Wichita State, through Albany State, through coaching in high school, and college. Went out with her for 10 years, married her for 30 years. That's my championship ring right there. Works out every day, watches the Yankees. I thank you for making her such a good person. worked for GE as a project leader. He got engaged to Allie Chico this year. Allie is going to med school at Albany Med, and she's going to be a pediatric oncologist. So, finally, I'm missing Dave Goyette, the best 50 and over player in the area. I got $100 if anybody wants to play it right now, excluding Scott Franco. Dave, though, he wanted me to play again. He got me back playing in the Comedy Senior League. He comes out, he scores 56, 45, 51. I score 4, 6, 4, 2. And his wife's with him tonight, Gloria. In ending, I have to thank Doc. I have to thank Doc Sars. When I came back from Wichita State, I didn't really want to play anymore. Went to Doc. He got me in Albany State. He got me out of Albany State. He gave me the first coaching job at Albany State I ever had. And he got me my first high school coaching job. In ending, I said 2 things. I love this thing. Everybody gets in, that's good. But Scott Franco from Potsdam should be in this. He played in 2 Final Fours, won one, was a major contributor. My man Gary Denollier, one of the best coaches that ever came out of Schenectady, the best teams. That's it.